Welcome back to another lesson on this wonderful Thursday. Today we're going to be talking about social media and specifically how it ties into you as a person and selling yourself to an employer. So what are some things that we can do to boost up our social media profiles so that when employers look at our social profiles, which they will inevitably do, what they see will be professional and it will be helpful in helping us secure that perfect job or that perfect career. Take a look at this video.
For a second about losing a job before the interview even happens. It is possible, and it's happening to people now who don't even realize it, and in many cases, all because of their social media.
So tonight, Jeff Paul explains what to look for in your own internet presence to help protect you at work.
It's where we share our memories, our photos, and sometimes our opinions. But when it comes to social media, some of us might be sharing too much.
We're not only looking at the types of comments that they're making, we're also looking for spelling, grammar. It's an online resume.
Job recruiter Jolene Risch says when a new applicant comes in, she starts with Google.
Who they are 24 hours a day is important to the company.
She then checks the obvious places: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Risch watches for unprofessional photos, curse words, racist or sexist comments, red flags she says companies want to know about before the candidates walk into the interview.
We're not fishing for bad content.
She's also checking how often they're posting on social media.
You see that someone posts, 3, 4, 5 times a day. You're wondering, well, shouldn't they be working?
But just the opposite is also a red flag.
If I can't find someone at all, I'm wondering, is this person who they really are?
Dallas-based Fortune 500 company Southwest Airlines hired close to 7,000 people last year, and recruiters use social media to find many of them.
Look at your social media from the lens of an employer and say, what would people think about that?
State Farm's new North Texas hub at Richardson saw 2,000 new hires in its first year and still has hundreds of empty desks to fill. The company says it uses Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to engage with potential hires before hiring events.
You should always be prepared and have a proactive approach to make sure you're keeping in mind that the job field is really competitive and you want to make a positive first impression, whether that's in person or online.
Even if your social media footprint isn't so clean, it's not too late to spruce up your online profiles.
Hit delete. Delete is your friend.
UT Dallas social media professor Janet Johnson says what you share becomes your brand.
Do you have a lot of drinking pictures on your profile? Are you cursing on Twitter? Are you complaining about companies? Are you complaining about your boss?
Johnson says if you wouldn't show a picture or recite a post to your boss, it shouldn't be out there.
One tweet can ruin your life.
While deleting old photos and comments will help, Johnson says creating a professional presence on the web will too.
Instead of like cuties@gmail.com, have a name, janetjohnson@gmail.com.
She says changing privacy settings are an option, but if you're questioning a post, it's best not to hit send in the first place.
Data doesn't die. Everyone has a camera phone now that you can easily take a screenshot of anything.
Now, experts say the other tip is to create a LinkedIn profile or to start making daily posts that are more professional to put some of those inappropriate posts from the past further down. Doug and Caitlin?
Yeah, 3 people sitting here like
No.
delete.
Exactly. Huh?
It's good advice, and the reality is today we thought it was just a problem for our kids, but man, adults are in this game too now.
real.
Everybody's got to watch out.
Yep.
Good advice.
So remember we already talked about being in business and the product is you? Well, your online presence is like your marketing for your product. You want to make sure that your product looks the best it can and will be accessible to the right people. So here are 4 tips for zhuzhing up your online presence. So tip number 1 is to create a quality business-oriented social profiles. So when an employer gets your resume, they get your cover letter, they are inevitably going to look you up. So what are they going to find? Ask yourself, what would an employer find on my social profile? Is it going to benefit me? Is it going to help me get that job? Or is it going to be detrimental? Or is it going to work against me in getting that job? You want to make sure when you're posting to your social media, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever it may be, that you are including only positive, professional photos. And this might sound silly to think of a positive photo, but again, remember I mentioned in that Tuesday class there was this person whose Facebook profile was a picture of him smoking weed. Now, I knew that type of personality wasn't going to fit into our workplace, so they were automatically dismissed. That wasn't a positive photo, wasn't a professional photo. You want to make sure all of your posts are grammatically correct, that they are well thought out, and that they're error-free. Remember that all the photos that you include in your online profiles should only portray you in a positive professional light, and that your statements are well thought out when you post them. Even the grammar and spelling of your posts will convey a message to future employers about your intelligence. Tip number 2 is get to be known as an expert. So when you're posting, say, to Twitter or to Facebook or to Instagram, you want to demonstrate your knowledge in the field, or you want to demonstrate your passion about your field through thoughtful and educational posts, rather than posts that demonstrate, attempted humor. For example, this lady says, going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS, just kidding, I'm white. This is going to be considered extremely offensive. A potential employer or her current employer, she could get fired over this tweet. It's not unheard of for people to have to step down or resign because of things that they posted to their social media. It's not unheard of for them to get fired over something that was posted to social media. She could face a whole public backlash for this statement, which would reflect poorly on the company, which then, it might come down to, again, either firing her or some sort of punishment on her part. Instead, she could have used this space to educate. If she was going to Africa, maybe she is some sort of humanitarian worker. So if she was going to Africa, she could have said, going to Africa, here's a fun fact about the country that I'm visiting, and then have an educational sentence about that country, maybe why she's going there to help, maybe that she's passionate and happy that she's going to help. Instead of posting something that was supposed to be humor but can be interpreted very poorly and could cause extreme backlash, she could have used this to demonstrate her knowledge or her passion about the field that she's in. So you also want to show that you're a team player with your posts. You can emphasize your current employment connections, and you can do this by showing yourself in a we rather than a me light. So for example, this person says, why do you sell the largest sandwiches in town? It's simple. We know that when you're really hungry, a regular sandwich just won't do. Now, I'm guessing that this person meant to say, why do we sell the largest sandwiches in town? Again, that would speak to maybe their professionalism. You always want to make sure that your grammar and your spelling are good because it does distract from the message, and in some cases can make you seem like you're not as intelligent as you actually are. So in this case, why do you sell the largest sandwiches in town doesn't make this person sound very smart. Chances are it's just a simple misspelling, but it does look poorly on them for that part. However, they say it's simple. We know that when you're really hungry, a regular sandwich just won't do. So instead of saying, hey, I got the best sandwiches in town, come on down and see me, they said we, and they're showing that they're a team player. So if this person doesn't own the store, if they work there, they're showing that they are passionate about their work, that they are committed to their work, that they are willing to put, some posts on their social media about their work, which shows that they take pride in it. It demonstrates to future employers that you are a team player when you say we, and that you're really a committed employee. So these are all traits that I would want in people working for me. I would want them to be dedicated. I would want them to take pride in their work and to be passionate about what they do and to be a team player. So number 4 is to be engaged. So, really, you can use the internet for all sorts of things, and one of the things that you can use the internet for that it's really great for is networking. So, you can join professional groups, you can sign up for subscriptions, you can participate in webinars, whatever it is, however it is that you want to get involved is totally up to you. But the number one thing is just to be engaged and to get on the internet and get connecting with people, get networking, get connecting, join groups that are things that you are interested in or things that will look good that you're a part of that group. Again, employers will look at your social profile. So it's in your best interest to kind of zhuzh up your profiles so that employer can get the best picture of you possible. Again, they will search for you, and it looks weird if there's nothing on the internet about you. What looks better is that you demonstrate that you are involved, you're engaged, you're networked, you're a team player, you're passionate about your field, you're an expert in your field, you have a wonderful business profile. All these things will be much better than having no online presence at all. So, in terms of creating a professional online presence, LinkedIn and Twitter are some business tools that you can use to build up some professional profiles. So LinkedIn helps businesses discover your professional self, whereas Facebook would help people discover your social self. LinkedIn is more geared to discovering your professional side. These groups can give you access to discussions with industry professionals outside your immediate work. So that's one of the big benefits. I know when I first got out of university and my professors were telling me, you guys need to get into LinkedIn and to Twitter, you guys need to set up these accounts. Really, my first impression of LinkedIn was that it was, like Facebook, but for 50-year-old men who wear suits all the time and just discovering the internet for the first time. I did not think that it was something that I would be interested in or that I would find any value in or that would benefit me at all. But I was pleasantly surprised with LinkedIn, and it has actually benefited me a lot over the years. So when I was applying for my master's, I had to get recommendations from some of my old university professors, and unfortunately I didn't have their email addresses anymore. Luckily, I was on LinkedIn and I searched up my university professors on LinkedIn. I got connected with them, and then I started up a conversation with them, and I was able to request that they send some references to the school that I was applying to for my master's. Other ways that LinkedIn has helped me has been in job search, actually. I've had quite a few people contact me through LinkedIn offering me jobs based on, my work experience and my education, and they've offered me positions in companies that I never knew existed. I didn't even know that they were looking for jobs, that sort of thing. So really, LinkedIn is like an online resume. You can include a photo of yourself on it. You typically provide your experience on there, your skills and endorsements. There's a section for education and honors and awards. And it's very similar to what you would write in a resume. So in a way, you can think of LinkedIn as your online resume. The better and stronger your LinkedIn profile is, the better it's going to make you look as a potential employee. So another tool that you can use in the business world is Twitter. It's another popular job search tool. So if you think of LinkedIn as your online resume, Twitter is like your online business card. You can describe yourself in concrete terms, such as providing your professional title or area of expertise, company and or industry, and a notable achievement or career. So, for example, social media youth brand marketer at SportCheck. So this is really a great way that you can get down your professional thoughts and opinions, something that maybe your Instagram account or your Facebook account you might not want to put there. This is a place where you can, again, show that you're professional. You can make posts that show that you're passionate or, dedicated to the work that you are in. If you look up, funny employment tweets, there's hundreds and hundreds of tweets out there, really, really inappropriate tweets that are meant to be funny but are totally inappropriate for Twitter. And there's been tons of people who have gotten in lots of trouble for posting things online, especially tweets, that they just did not keep professional. And you really can use both LinkedIn and Twitter to either boost up your online presence to make yourself look better as a potential employee, or it can work against you. So really the option is yours. The option is yours to use these and look better in the online world, or to maybe not utilize these to the fullest extent, or not fix your social profiles that you currently have to be more professional. So some tips that I have for using LinkedIn include a professional photo. I know this is a really hard thing to do, especially during lockdown. It's hard to get a professional photo of yourself, but what I advise doing is just dressing up in your best suit or whatever blazer you may have, and just making sure that you look tidy, and then just finding a blank wall and getting some good light in front of you and taking a picture of yourself. This is going to differ from your pictures on your social media because it's mainly just from the chest up and it's a professional headshot. My other recommendation is to make connections with other users. So again, this is another great way that you can connect with people. Like I said, I used it to connect with my old university professors who were able to then write me some recommendations, which helped me get my master's, which helped me get the job that I have today. So it's a useful tool in helping you achieve your career goals. You can detail your experience in education. Again, this is like an online resume, so why not put as much experience in education as you can on there? It's not like a resume where you have to keep it to 1 to 2 pages. You can put as much experience in education on your LinkedIn profile as you want. The About summary, you can use this section to demonstrate your expertise, and I would advise using some industry keywords, and that will help grab attention. You want to customize your profile address with your name. This will help people find you more easily. And then after you do this, you can actually add it to other documents, such as your business cards, your cover letters, your resumes, anything that you hand out to a future employer. You could even use this custom URL in your email signature if you want. So you want to add relevant and visual content such as PowerPoints, videos, etc. Anything to make your LinkedIn profile stand out, be more eye-catching, and gain more attention essentially. You want to solicit endorsements and recommendations. So here you can ask people who you know to give you recommendations on things. You want to make sure that you're asking people who you know will give you good recommendations or endorsements, so coworkers, supervisors, career mentors, or really great friends. You can update your profile to reflect fresh achievements and professional development. You want to keep in mind that your current employers may interpret frequent updates as a sign that you're looking for a new position. So your current employer may be checking your LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you're not updating, putting all these updates on because they might think that you're looking for a new job. If you are looking for a new job and you don't want them knowing about that, you can also disable what's called share with network options so that your connections aren't directly notified when you're making updates. So again, if you're constantly making updates, it might signal to your employer that you're looking for a new job. If that is the case, and you are looking for a new job, or you're just wanting to update your profile and you don't want your employer thinking that you're looking for a new job, you can turn off and you can disable that option, which is share with network. Some tips that I have for using Twitter: you again want to create a professional profile with a high quality headshot. You can create a separate personal profile if you want to. Unless your hobbies relate directly to your career or your soft skills, you want to create a separate profile to showcase, extensive extracurricular interests. So if you are an avid skier or, soccer player or basketball player and you have those extensive extracurricular interests, unless it directly relates to your career or your soft skills, maybe consider creating a separate account for that. And you can link them, but, just create separate ones so that if somebody is looking for you, they can find your professional profile, and then if they want to dig a little deeper into your interests, then they can find that profile as well. So link to your blog or website. You can create links. If you have one, include it. If you have one and it's not professional, maybe don't include it. Use your judgment there. Customize the header on Twitter. So to make your Twitter account stand out more and to line up with your personal brand, again, remember that you are the brand that you are selling. So you want to customize it to the person that you're selling, your personal brand. So you can take that header and you can customize it to be eye-catching, catch that attention, and retain it, right? You want to follow people, professional organizations, and institutions in your field. So this way you can start following people and institutions that are most relevant to your career. You can use the advanced search and the who to follow options to find people and organizations according to industry or location. You can explore new topics through hashtags. If you follow a lot of Twitter accounts, you can use lists to separate them into different categories, making those lists either public or private. And then you want to connect with your LinkedIn account. So these two can link together. You want to connect them if possible. So thank you for listening to the video today. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me at my email address listed there. This week, I want you to finish reading up chapter 10. So you read up to page 333 for this week. For next week, we are talking about resumes and cover letters. So I want you to continue reading on from page 333 and keep reading to the end of chapter 10. So that will be a good intro into what we will be talking about next Tuesday and Thursday, which is resume and cover letters and resume writing and all that good stuff. Okay, so I hope you guys have a good week and a good weekend, and we will see you all Tuesday.